Good morning, grade 11s. This morning we're going to look at trig co-functions. So let us start off by looking at this triangle ABC. And let's assume that BC is 3 centimeters, AB is 4 centimeters, and therefore our hypotenuse will be 5 centimeters. Now if I put theta here at C, and I ask you for the value of sine theta. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So my value of sine theta is going to be 4 over 5. Okay, now if I look within the triangle, I can see, because it's a right angle triangle, I know that if I add all three angles, I'm going to get 180 degrees. So if I wanted to refer to A in terms of theta, I could say that theta plus A is going to give me 90 degrees because B is 90 degrees. So therefore A is going to be 90 degrees minus theta. So let's say I go now and I ask you for the value of cos of 90 degrees minus theta. So what is cos? Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cos of this angle is going to give me 4 over 5. All right. Do you see that this is the same? So therefore the value of sine theta and the value of cos of 90 minus theta are both equal to 4 over 5. So therefore I can say that the cos of 90 minus theta is going to be equal to sine theta. And this I call co-functions. Now sometimes it is referred to as the Coco rule, all right? And I'm going to give you some rules. So first of all, you're going to determine which quadrant the angle is in. Then you're going to determine the sign of the original function, and then you're going to change sine to cos or cos to sine, because you see cos changed to sine. So let's go and have a look. Remember, I said to you that in the first quadrant all the angles were positive and all of the angles were acute because it's between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Remember, an angle is always measured from the x-axis in an anti-clockwise direction. Now an angle in the second quadrant, if we want to make it an acute angle, what did we say? We said it was going to be 180 degrees minus theta. An angle in the third quadrant we said was going to be 180 degrees plus theta. And an angle in the fourth quadrant was going to be 360 degrees minus theta. Now remember, I said to you that you're always going to use these green angles and that later on you would have to make a choice. Now our choices here is that we only use the co-functions when we have to, because often we then make mistakes because we need to change sine to cos or cos to sine. So if we in the first quadrant, remember, an angle is going to go in an anti-clockwise direction. So if we had to start at 90 and we had to subtract, we would then come in this way. So this angle in the first quadrant, in what we call the danger angles, is 90 minus theta, which is this first one we spoke about. It's an acute angle. And then in the second quadrant, it is 90 degrees, and here we're going to add the angle. So it's going to be 90 degrees plus theta. In the third quadrant, we're going to use 270, and it is going to be 270 degrees, and now we're going in the wrong direction, so it's going to be 270 minus theta. And last of all, in the fourth quadrant, it is going to be 270 degrees plus theta. Now guys, the reason I put these in red here is because they are danger zones. So we're only going to use these red angles when we have to. For all other circumstances, we are going to use the green ones, because when using the green ones, we only have to look at whether the function is positive or negative. We do not have to change it from sine to cos. So let's have a look at a few examples here. So the first one is sine. I need to write these as just a function value of theta. So sine of 90 plus theta. If I look at my rules, I'm going to see where is this angle. This angle is in the second quadrant, 90 plus theta. And in the second quadrant, sine is positive. So my answer is going to be a positive, and then I need to change sine to cos. So it's going to be a positive cos theta. In my example number 2, I've got cos of 90 minus theta. Where is that angle? It is in the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, all of the functions are positive. So my answer is going to be a positive, and I'm going to change cos to sine, and it's going to be sine theta. If I look at the third one, sine of 270 minus theta, where is this angle? It is in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, sine is negative. So it's going to be a negative. I'm going to change sine to cos, and it's going to be cos theta. In example number 4, I have cos of 270 minus theta. That is also in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, cos is negative. So my answer is going to be a negative sine theta. If I look at example number 5, I have sine of 270 plus theta. 270 plus theta is in the fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So my answer is going to be a negative. I'm going to change sine to cos theta. And my last example of this type is going to be cos of 270 plus theta is going to be again in my fourth quadrant, and cos is positive. So this is going to be a positive sine theta. Now sometimes they give us more than one of these to do in the same problem, something like this. So this is worth a lot of marks, and what is most important is my first step. So if I look at cos of 90 plus theta, I again go to my diagram. Where is cos of 90 plus theta? It is in the second quadrant, and I see that cos is negative. So this is going to be a negative. I change the cos to a sine theta. Times by, I now have sine of 270 minus theta. It is in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, sine is negative. So it becomes a negative, and I change sine to cos theta. Then I have tan of 180 minus theta. That is in the second quadrant, but now I have a green angle. It's not so difficult. It's not the danger zone, so I don't have to change sine to cos or tan to anything else. This is simply, I'm going to say tan is negative, so this is going to be a negative tan theta. Then I'm going to go and have a look in my denominator. And in my denominator, I have sine of 180 minus theta. That is again in the second quadrant. And sine is positive, so this is going to be sine theta. And it is a positive. Then I have tan of 360 minus theta. 360 minus theta, again a green angle. And tan in the fourth quadrant is negative, so it's going to be a negative tan theta. So now the first thing I need to determine is, will my answer be positive or negative? So I go and count the negatives. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's an even number, so that I know my answer is going to be positive. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to go and see, I can cancel this sine theta with that sine theta. I can cancel that tan theta with that tan theta. And my answer is going to be a positive cos theta. Alright guys, I'm going to send you some to do, an exercise. Enjoy.